The Laurel-Class is defined by compromise. The ship does not have enough internal volume for all of its intended weapons and systems, which required significant concessions to be made during the design of its internal layout and structure. Its hull is extremely well reinforced around the carronade emplacements, dramatically limiting space for crew access and complicating maintenance. This structure does not extend into the ship's main hull, however, as that space is utilised for other design requirements, such as cargo storage, which itself limits the available space for the torpedo magazine. The Laurel-Class was conceived to close the distance to its adversary and wreak havoc at pistol shot range with its carronades. While a theoretically sound doctrine, the ship's heavy armour required to survive the approach phase greatly limits its acceleration and reaction times. Ultimately, its carronades act more as a deterrent from starting short-range fights than actual fighting assets. The several shortcomings of the Laurel-Class were laid bare during the Frontier War, as without high-velocity armaments like those seen on the Aquilon-class post-ship, the sloops of war simply could not match the range of Union militia outriders and frigates. In nearly every action, Union captains controlled the engagement completely, with the Laurels unable to make use of their carronades, and many lost to surrender or destruction, often no matter the competency of their commanders and crews. Having sustained heavy losses early in the war, the Centran Admiralty elected to limit Laurel production in favour of the more cost-effective Andalay-class brig and the increasingly legendary Confiance-class frigate. The remaining ships of the Laurel-class already in service, as well as the few new builds, would be assigned to secondary roles, including rear echelon security, sensitive cargo transport, personnel transfers, and humanitarian missions. In these roles, the Laurel-Class developed a very dissonant reputation between the military and civilians. Among the CDF, it remained extremely unpopular. Crews hated its cramped interior and difficult maintenance, and officers felt stifled by their assignments, unable to advance their careers serving aboard these unremarkable ships. Vessels of the class would sometimes deploy without all systems working at full capacity, as many commanders relaxed maintenance standards in attempts to improve crew morale. In stark contrast, however, being the more common sight of aid recipients from the CDF, and frequently seen in civilian life around populous systems like Axios and Centrum, the ship became something of a symbol to civilians, embodying the reassuring presence of the CDF in difficult times.